I am here, and you are here, and we are here, and we are all together. What is up? What is down? What's going all around? I am very late. What is up, everyone? I am here, and you are here, and we are here, and we are all together. And can you stand on your head? I don't have absolutely. Hello, Fire Goddess. How you doing today? The weekend of the playoffs is upon it. Well, next week. And this week we got some big matchups. Big news coming out of Philadelphia, though. The Philadelphia Eagles will be resting key starters against the Washington Commanders. They still think they could beat them without said players, and maybe they can. Maybe they can't. How's the neck? The neck still hurts. I could still barely move, but we're getting better. Went to work today. How you doing today, Dax? How you doing today, my girlfriend? Hope everybody's doing well. Why am I not loading my... hold on. My internet is not... Give me my Google... Give me a sec. What's everybody doing today? Together forever and forever together. We're doing a live stream. Nothing seems to be working on my end, though. Why is my computer being weird? Okay, hold on. Alright. Well, I guess I'm going to have to look this way and talk about football. So, today we are going to talk about the key matchups and stuff like that for foosball. Starting off with the big matchup on Sunday night. Or Saturday night. Excuse me. The Seattle Seahawks versus the San Francisco 49ers is the biggest game on national TV, and yes, I will be live for that. I might win while Eagles are resting. It could happen. It could happen. We were talking about football. Yes, Dax. How you doing today, San Poyle? I hope you're doing well. We were talking about we're just talking about Seattle versus San Francisco. And I know I got a couple of Seattle Seahawks fans. And I'll be watching that game, doing that game live on Saturday. Sam Poyle was nice. I usually call them the E-Girls. It could be both. We got two Seahawks fans. Sam Poyle and Dax are both Seahawks fans joining in on the live stream. And this week, it actually looks like the 49ers are favored to win against the Seahawks. I have to know. Let me go to my Google Doc. So, the 49ers and the Seahawks are pretty close in record so far, obviously, because there wouldn't be a win in first place in the conference. San Francisco is 12-4 and 4-1 in the division. As for Seattle, they are 13-3, 3-2 in the division. So obviously that would put the 49ers at the number 1 seed if they win. Injury report: Shaheed and Kobe Bryant are limited in practice during the walkthrough, and you have to really look at Shaheed's ability to stretch the field, his ability to go against the punt return on special teams, especially. He's like one of the best. I would put him out there 9 times out of 10 unless he's injured. As for the San Francisco 49ers, they may be without Trent Williams starting soon. I mean, Trent Williams in the game. Trent Williams is definitely one of the best tackles, not of all time, of the generation. And right now it's a 51-48 split on whether the 49ers win. Unfortunately, I really question, like I said, whether the quarterback situation comes into play, because Darnold sometimes can play like he's an all-pro, and then sometimes he plays like he's a player, a bad quarterback. The over-under is 47.5. The Seahawks are not... San Francisco is... I don't even know how to read that. But Sam Darnold has 3,850 yards. Now, people native to Pennsylvania make it sound like Eagles. The Eagles. The Eagles. Probably. 3,850 yards from Sam Darnold. The thing that bothers me is the 14 or 15 interceptions that he's had. 25 touchdowns is really good. But do you think, chat, that he's going to do well against the 49ers? The 49ers do have an iffy defense. They're not the greatest defense. They allow a lot of yards. They allow about 22 points per game. So, what does chat think? I also think that running the ball will be a big factor in how things... Why can't I go back to my other... Oh my gosh, what is this? I just want to switch between my tabs. How come I can't switch between my tabs? Okay. Something's going on with my laptop. Switch between tabs. Not working. I can't switch between my tabs. Okay, what I do know is that I hate the 49ers. I will give Darnold that a lot of his interceptions came from the Rams. So as long as we don't have to play them, we might be good. Yeah. The Rams obviously control tab. Control tab. Okay. They definitely don't have to play the Rams. I don't think. Who do the Rams play? If the playoff seeding started today, I'm still learning how to do like live streams. Live streams are not the easiest to do for me. What is it? The Ram playoff picture. Okay. Playoff picture. Live streams are still new to me, so I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I'm also one person, so I'm floundering a little bit. If the playoffs started today, it would be the Rams playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles are definitely not a team that are either... I don't even know how capable they are of offense. But going back to Seattle, stay to where you need to be at 5 p.m. Pacific time. The San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks. Injury report, Josh Jones is questionable, the guard. Charles Cross is questionable. They said he's going to be out. But Kobe Bryant, yeah, he's your number one safety. He allows like a 59% completion percentage. And was it a 54 passer rating against? Cody White is another injury, but he's on IR. George Kittle's injured. May play, may not. I don't know if he will. Christian McCaffrey said his back isn't going to bother him that much. And Keon White, kind of a role player. Kyle Juszczyk, they all have a lot of injuries for the 49ers side of the thing. As for Fred Warner is going to possibly play, they said, if they make a deep playoff run. So where does that leave Seattle versus the Niners? I'm just rambling. I'm so sorry. Seattle versus the Niners. So Seattle versus 49ers, where do I think it's going to go? I have a feeling Seattle's going to win the game. I think their defense is going to be a little too much. They allow the second least amount of points in the NFL, and I think that when you take into account just how good Sam Darnold can be, he's been slumping the last 2 games, but he's been overall effective throughout the season, except for like a couple games against the Rams. I got to take the Seattle Seahawks in this one, and I'll tell you my reasons. I think, yeah, like I already told you my reasons. Defensively, I think they are going to beat up on Brock Purdy. I think I think the run game for Seattle, if they get going, will be good. It could go either way. The 49ers are definitely a good team, and I think that I think hmm, 49ers are a good team. I think Christian McCaffrey should be the MVP just with what he did against the league without any help whatsoever versus the rest of the league. No defense. Offensive line was banged up. Kittle was out. Pearsall was out. All these players were out. So I could see this game going either way, but since I got Seattle fans in here, between you and me, I'm going to go Seattle. I'm just going to kiss your guys' ass. That's what I'm going to do. So, it brings us to our next matchup. We got our next big matchup, and one of the ones that is going to decide playoff fates is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. I think that Carolina is a good team when they want to be. Every other week they seem to be the better team in the league. The Buccaneers need a lot of help winning the division. They have to win, and the Saints have to beat the Falcons, which with the way the Falcons have been playing, I don't see that happening. So either way, we're either gonna have a 9-8 Panthers, an 8-9 Panthers, or we're gonna have a 8-9 Buccaneers in the playoffs. Are they going to be able to win a playoff game? I doubt it, because whoever they play is going to play the fifth. If you're the fifth seed, you're looking at either Seattle or the 49ers. One of those teams is going to be the clear number 5 seed when it all shakes out. Also, Carolina, the last... Let me see. Carolina, let me look at their points per game and all that. My stuff's not working. Of course. PBG Panthers. Panthers points per game around 18. They're only averaging 18.6, 18.8 points per game. 22.6 or 22.8 points per game allowed. Yeah, that's probably true. I probably should, but I think Seattle's good enough to win. I think Seattle's good enough to win the West. Just based on injuries and things like that, the Seattle Seahawks are more of the healthy team. I think as for the Carolina Panthers, I think the free fall of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has just been so bad that I don't know what to say about them. Points per game for the Bucks. The points per game are let's see 22.8 points per game. So they're about where the amount of points that the Carolina Panthers allowed. I think 3,490 yards from Baker. I just don't like the way their team looks in the last few months. They've had that debacle with the Falcons. They've just played bad since late October. It's not anything to do with like Baker as a talent. I think Baker is a huge talent. If the 3 top teams in the NFC South all finish 8-9, then the Panthers will win the division. By default, yeah. Bucks need Falcons to lose and win themselves. So they need a lot of help, the Buccaneers. It looks like Tampa Bay is going to... the Panthers could be hosting a playoff game, even without winning their last games. And Tampa Bay could host a playoff game, and they'll get destroyed in the playoffs by whoever they play, either the Seahawks or the 49ers. But if you look at is this points per game? So if you look at the Buccaneers' points allowed, they're 23rd. They are they're allowing about how many points per game? Tampa Bay is allowing 24.8 points per game. Thank you for at least talking to me, guys. I really don't know what I would say. I'm just winging this because I wasn't able to do a lot of research on things because I decided to play Civ with my younger brother because he got sad and wanted to play with me. But I really think Carolina comes out on top. Carolina has a better defense. Surprisingly, we know that they started 0-4 or 1-3 or 1-4, however long ago. I can't remember. But they are allowing how many points per game? They are, what the hell? They're not all the way down here. No. Carolina is 16, tied for 16th in the NFL. They're not the worst. They're better than Tampa Bay on defense. Offensively, they're worse than them. But I just don't see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scoring enough points to win the game. I like Bryce Young. I would like him to get more consistent. A lot of people don't like Bryce Young. They say he's a bust. But we saw what happened with like Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was a guy who was teetering on the bust label, and I'll hold out a little bit of hope for Bryce Young to do the same next year. When he's got another year with Tetero and McMillan and he's got a better offensive line, the running game needs to come a little bit better. As for Tampa Bay, this is probably the year that you fire Todd Bowles because Todd Bowles sucks. And I never liked Todd Bowles as a coach, especially even when he was playing against the... who was he playing against? He was playing against the... He was on the Jets. That's who he was. But we're going to move on to our next matchup. Our next matchup was between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. There is rumors that Lamar Jackson will be back this week. And that bodes trouble for the Steelers, who only average like 20-something points a game. They're like one of the low points per games when it comes to the points scored. Football reference. No. Let me see here. I'm having trouble. I'm sorry, guys. This is my first time doing this. So, I am a bit nervous. Let's see. If Lamar Jackson plays, I think there's a good chance the Steelers might lose this game. I think that when it comes to passing yards, who's better? We have... Baltimore is all the way down at 172.7 yards per game, but that's with Tyler Huntley. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Where are you guys? 22nd, 196.9 points per game. The question comes, how is Baltimore's defense going to play against Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's obviously without DK Metcalf, and that's going to be a problem for them because we saw what happened last week. All they were throwing to was Freiermuth and people like that. 63 yards for Freiermuth, or whoever. Freiermuth, I'm sorry. And Derrick Henry ran for over 200 yards and 4 scores, like 2 rushing, 2 receiving. So I don't know. Injury-wise, King Henry, you think King Henry is going to do it? I think Baltimore's going to win this game. I agree. Baltimore is probably winning this game. And my brother couldn't be happier. So. Oh, now my computer's screwed up again. What is going on here? Okay, we're just going to go over here and try and do this. Should have been suspended for the playoffs as well if they make it. I think you're right. You don't swipe at fans. But a little bit between you and me, they don't suspend you for slapping people. They suspend you for gambling and smoking weed for a year. Just look at old Ricky Williams. Steelers versus Ravens. January 20th. So my laptop's not working for some reason. I'll have to do something about that. But Baltimore has a 58.2% chance of winning this ball game. Aaron Rodgers has 23 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, compared to Lamar Jackson's 18 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Derrick Henry, 287 carries for 16 touchdowns, 1,469 yards. People are saying that Derrick Henry fell off. But if you're second in the NFL in touchdowns and third in the NFL in touchdowns, then I don't know anything about football, and all these other people who say that he fell off know more about football than I do. I don't think so. I think he should have been out. Yeah, definitely should have been out for the rest of the season. He only has 850 yards and 6 touchdowns, so it's not like he was doing much. They don't have a 1,000-yard rusher. Hold on. Yeah, they don't even have a 1,000-yard rusher or anything like that. They have nothing to go on offensively. Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old, and he's playing okay. I think he played pretty well a couple games ago and then the game before the Browns game. But if you look at just how bad they were against the Browns, it opens up the question, does Mike Tomlin finally get fired? Yes. I would hope that he does. I hope that Mike Tomlin finally gets fired, because then he'd go to a different team and actually do something. We saw with Andy Reid back in the day, he needed to go to a different team, and unfortunately that team was the Chiefs, and now we had to deal with them for about 10 years, but it worked out for him. Mike Tomlin could probably do the same, but is the game past him? Did the game pass him by? I don't know. I'd have to see him on another team. Our third, I think that's probably the biggest matchup. So let's go to the playoff scenarios and see what's going on there. If you guys have like questions or anything, it is a Q&A. This is definitely a Q&A and just hanging out, seeing what we can do. So I really don't want to read all this. Don't want to read all that. I'm not trying to read it. Steelers filing a coach. Only 3 coaches since 1970. What was it? Chuck Noll? And then it was Chuck Noll, it was Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. So maybe Tomlin stays. I don't know. But then you had the early years where they didn't really fire anybody, right? 1930s, they fired people because they sucked. Our make the playoff scenario. The 49ers have already made the playoffs, win the division. They have a 50.9% chance of winning the division and a 50.9% chance of earning the number 1 seed. The only two teams that can win the number 1 seed are obviously Seattle and the 49ers. I think Seattle wins. I'm hoping. And then you have the Bears, who have won the division. They could drop down to the 3rd seed if they lose and the Eagles win. I doubt that happens, because the Eagles are definitely resting key starters this game, and I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Eagles, 3rd seed. Panthers are about a 71% chance of making the playoffs, and the Buccaneers about a 28.3% chance. So everything is just about settled in the NFC playoff picture. It's just seeding and things like that. As for the Rams, do the Rams have a chance to get the number 1 seed? I don't see any. I mean, not number 1, but like a higher seed. Are all the seeds actually up for it? I don't know. Are the Rams? Does anybody know if the Rams can move up? Can the Rams? Let's double check. Can the Rams get the 5 seed? The NFC playoff picture. Rams remain number 6 seed, but number 5 seed still in play entering Week 18. Okay, so here we are. This is what you guys wanted to hear. Number 1 seed, Seattle clinched playoff berth. The stakes for the 13-3 beating Carolina are simple: win or tie on Saturday night, clinch the division, and the conference number 1 seed. Lose, fall to the 5th seed. Okay, so how do the Rams make it? Despite losing to the Falcons Monday night, they could still move up 1 spot in the playoff picture with the win and a Seattle Seahawks win. So there's a lot at stake for teams like the Eagles. So if the Eagles lose, and the Seahawks win and the Rams win, they'll be playing the 49ers. The 49ers against the Eagles is a very intriguing matchup because we have an offense that can barely move forward sometimes. We have a defense that can't really stop anybody. And then you have a defense that can stop everyone and an offense that can play really well at times. But if they play the Rams, I think the Rams are a tricky one. They kind of play down to their opponents. So whoever ends up the 5th seed is going to play Carolina. They'll probably win that game. So Seattle, if you lose, you better hope you're the 5th seed. If you lose, you're the 5th seed, you'll at least get to the next round. At least that's what I'm figuring, because you've already beat the Panthers 1 time. Packers are the number 7 seed. There's nothing there. And now for the AFC playoff picture. 100%. So Broncos have already won the division. They have a 70.4 chance to win the number 1 seed. So all they have to do is win. For the Patriots, what do they have to do to win? I'm really sorry that I'm looking at my stuff here. It shouldn't have been. Green Bay stayed in at number 7 seed after losing to Baltimore. The Packers cannot move higher. Okay. That is just the NFC, right? Yes, this is just the NFC. AFC playoff scenario. This one's more fun. The AFC playoff scenario is a lot more fun. Broncos win, number 1 seed. Or a Denver tie and a New England loss, or a New England loss plus a Jacksonville loss or tie. So if they all lose, then number 1 seed. Or if Denver wins. Denver wins the number 1, New England wins the number 1 seed with a New England win and a Denver loss or tie, or a New England tie and Denver loss. So there's only 2 paths. The AFC South champion, Jacksonville Jaguars, Jacksonville needs to win or tie to win the division, or Houston loses or ties to win the division. My apologies. As for the number 1 seed, heading into Week 18, the Jags are... I'm going out on a limb and saying that only an NFC West team can eliminate an NFC West team. I think so. Are we talking about, like, in the playoffs? Number 1. Yeah. So you're saying that the NFC West is the strongest division, and it'll probably be one of those teams in the Super Bowl. Is that what you're saying? I'm just double checking with you. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, in the playoffs. That could possibly be good. Well, the Eagles, depending on the offense, I don't have any faith in them. The Bears are a wishy-washy team sometimes when it comes to offense and defense. So I don't know about them. I think this is anyone's year. This is the only year in NFL, like, it's the first year in a while that I've seen, like, anybody can win the Super Bowl. There's no, like, clear-cut number 1 team, I don't think. Jacksonville will need to win, plus a Denver loss and a New England loss to get the number 1 seed. NFC North, and they went 0-3. I've learned nothing. Hey, it happens. What was it? It was the Lions, it was the Commanders, and then you had the Vikings. Not the Commanders. You had the Lions, Vikings, and Packers all lose. Why did I say Commanders? Oh, because Commanders were up. My bad, my bad. Texans have already clinched the playoff spot, so they can't win the number 1 seed. Houston win, Jacksonville lost. They win the division. These two will be playing Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Definitely already know that one, and then Seattle. The Falcons' shocking win on Monday night gave the Panthers 2 possible paths to winning the NFC South. We already know how that goes. There's not really a lot to go off of with the playoffs, I think. We already see the playoff picture. Now, what was the next thing that I was going to do? I apologize. I'm a little unprepared. I'm always unprepared for these things. I'm not really used to like live streaming, I guess. I need to do it a lot more. Live. Boop. And here, AFC North. We've talked about the number 1 seeds. NFC South. We've talked about that. Q&A. I want to hear from you. You have any questions? Which dark horse team is the most dangerous in the playoffs? Which team do you think is the most dangerous in the playoffs? I think that the final wild card spots... Ooh, that's going to be fun. We have a lot to go over there, right? Well, the wild card spots are either going to be Houston and Houston, obviously. You guys have any dark horse teams? That'd be nice. I think predicting the final wild card. Lamar Jackson, already talked about that. Draft positioning. Let's go with the draft positioning here. I suck at this. I'm sorry. So the Raiders have a chance at the number 1 pick. Let's look at the... Let's see if we can do it. Draft position scenarios. NFL. Scenarios for the number 1 pick. We actually have this. Las Vegas, all they have to do is lose, or a New York Giants win, or okay, so they have to lose, or a New York Giants win, or 3 losses by Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Seattle. They have the easiest path to the number 1 seed. All they have to do is lose. The Giants selected running back Kyle Rote with the top pick in 1951 and running back Tucker Frederickson in 1965. More recently, the Raiders used the first selection on quarterback Roman Gabriel in 1977 and quarterback Jamarcus Russell in 2007. The projected pick draft order is the Raiders at number 1, Giants at number 2, Jets at number 3, Titans at number 4, Cardinals at number 5, Commanders at 6, Browns at 7, Saints at 8, Chiefs at 9, 10 Bengals. How can any team get the number 1? So, Commanders have a 26% chance of getting a top 5 pick. Browns have a 58.2% chance. Cardinals, a 80% chance of winning the number 1, a top 5. Titans, top 5, 80%. Giants, 62% to get top 5. That's interesting. That's actually very interesting. So if they win, they only have a 60% chance of getting it, right? And a 10.7% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. So the Raiders and Giants are the only 2 teams that could get the number 1 overall pick. So both teams lose. Giants are at 2. Or 3. They're at 3. Giants are at 3. Jets will stay at number 2 no matter what, I think, right? I think so. If Raiders win and Giants win, no. If Giants win And Jets lose, what happens? If the Raiders win, the Giants win, the Jets lose, it most significantly impacts the top of the NFL drafts. Raiders get the number 1 pick. The Giants will get the number 2 pick, and the Jets would have a worse record, impacting their draft position significantly potentially dropping them out of the top overall selection rate entirely. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so that's how it goes. Well, I think that's it. This is my first live stream in a while. I will try to be more prepared next week on Wednesday. Join me every week for Hilltime Sports. I don't know what to call it, but I'll see you in the next video. Probably got some Trevor Lawrence stuff coming out pretty soon, and I have the Seahawks 49ers game, and perhaps the Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers. I probably won't do the Eagles game because I do have to work that day. But I will see you guys next time. Adios. Stay blessed. Boom. Say la vie.